dynamic stars. Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are in the world. Namaste. This is Azurite 22 coming to you as usual to bring our intuition to the fore, to bring us more into our life. And today I have a special treat for you. I have the Spirits of the North deck. Can you believe this? It's finally here. If you follow me on Instagram, at 22azurite.com, you'll know that I got my deck yesterday, Thursday the 25th. These are beautiful hand-drawn cards by the wonderful Dawning Dreams Lady Z. And I'll link her information below so that you can get yourself a deck should you choose. But we're going to do a reading today using this deck. All right, I'm going to try and calm myself down. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'd love to do not quite an interview, but inquiring of the Spirits of the North deck a few things. The first question is, how do you feel about being introduced to the world? Because at this point in time, you know, Miss Lady Z, she has had this for quite some time. Her spirits have been there giving her this, giving her more and more cards. Why now? You know? So that's what I was thinking about. And also the second question is going to be, what lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? So these are the things that I wanted to ask, because I felt with this type of deck that speaks to the afrocentric diviner, we need to know a little bit more from the Spirits of the North. All right, we're going to dive right in. Mudupoe Egun for all of your beautiful energies, for sharing your knowledge with us, for touching Lady Z, for birthing this deck, bringing it into fruition. I ask you, Spirits of the North, to give us a message, to share with us a little insight about how you feel about being brought into the world. This is the first reading that I would like to do with you. Spirits of the North, how do you feel about being introduced to the world? They're large cards. They're very easy to work with. I'll try sideways. These are still very new for me, so I want to see what works best. Yeah, my hands are not that big. Spirits of the North, please let us know how you feel about being introduced to the world. Spirits of the North, how do you feel about being introduced to the world? Okay. This is not exactly what I had in mind, but that's the 4 that popped out. So we'll go with that. And in this order. I already love this deck. Oral history. Do you see that? As above, so below. The past repeating itself. Deeper understanding, lessons, receiving messages that are absolute. So we're already seeing that part of the reason why this deck has come back to us, this system of knowledge, is so that we can move forward. But we can't move forward without looking back, just like the Sankofa bird from Ghana. At this particular moment in time, it's almost as if we are reliving things that have already happened. Why? Because we didn't fully learn all of the lessons. We didn't fully teach our children all of the things that needed to be said. That is happening for us now. We are now really delving deep and digging into things that we pushed to the background, into our subconscious, because it's too painful. It's too painful. The conversation hurts. But it has to happen. We have to talk. This spirits of the North are telling us we need to know our oral history. We have to share our oral history with one another. Because once we do that, we will get messages, we will get healing, we will help ourselves, we will release the trauma, we will release the pain. So that once the pain is gone, we can move forward. The trauma, we'll never forget it, but we'll be able to move forward without the baggage. Then the next one, African mass spirit. We have warded off negative plots and plans against you. Ashe. Clearly, there's more afoot, as we all know, than is presented. And spirits of the North have already let us know they've already done things to help us. Our ancestors have not left us. They are working with us. They are here. They are doing the work behind the scenes for us. Sometimes things have to happen that we don't want to happen. No one would have wanted what happened to George Floyd to have happened. But Maferi Fonegun, Mr. Floyd gave himself as a martyr. Excuse me. I believe that we decide what we're going to do before we come down to earth. And he came down with a mission, and this was his mission. As his daughter has already said, my daddy changed the world, and he did. We are all spirit. We are all coming forth to bring our particular brand of magic, expertise, and talents into this world. And sometimes spirit has to do other things, but we need to be activated individually, in touch with our spiritual guides, with our ancestors, with our spiritual family, in order to know the nuances that have changed since you incarnated. And this is part of what I believe this is saying to us. They warded off a plot. However, we need to yoke back into them to get back in tune with what's going on. Because they can see back in the past, they can see the future, they can see the now. When one thing happens, something else occurs. It's almost like it's organic life, yes? So we need to yoke in to our African ancestors who have lived this, who know the ways, the thinking, way better than we do. So at this time when things are still moving and shifting beneath our feet, they are helping us, and we can help them to help us by yoking into them. Then we have coal mine brothers See that? Justice, wrongfully accused, trapped, protect yourself. So, what this card for me immediately that pops up, my older son showed me just a couple of days ago that there are lynchings happening all over again. Going back to this first card, the past repeating itself. Things are moving beneath our feet, just like I said before, because now that Black Lives Matter movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, is pretty much sweeping the world, those who are opposed to it are pushing back. There is, I did a video about George Floyd. I'll link it so that you can see what I'm saying, but you must protect yourself by informing yourself of what is going on, keeping yourself in a place so that if someone should try to accuse you, you are protected. You must, and this comes right here, right after, which I love, the altar, giving offerings, establishing connection, receive a message. These two cards work right hand in hand, these two, because you will get a message of forewarning of what is happening if you go to your ancestors, if you sit down and work with them. This reading here, why the spirits of the north came back, is because we are in a tumultuous situation right now that has the potential of reverting back to a state that we don't want. But they are working to stop that. We have to work with them by communicating with them in order for our things that we build, things that we do, will not be removed from us. We have to fight for justice by being, just like they used to do in the past, above reproach. And even still, things will be wrongfully accused, but because you're above reproach, you will be fine because your ancestors have your back. So the spirits of the north want us to know, remember your history, talk about it, go through the pain, release it. Yes, this is post-traumatic stress disorder, but you must work through it. We've got your back. We saw some stuff was happening. We averted it. We made sure it came to light. We made sure that things were in a state where everybody had the availability to do what was needed and necessary. And we're going to still protect you. We're going to work on making sure each of you are individually protected. You just come to us. Work with us so we can give you the foreknowledge. This is a beautiful reading. So now we're going to go to, what lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? Spirits of the North, thank you for that beautiful message. I ask you, what lessons have you come? Let me do it better. What lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? Spirits of the North. What lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? What lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? What lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? oral history again. Channeling spirit. What lessons have you come to teach those who work with you? Again, oral history. As above, so below. The past repeating itself. Deeper understanding. Lessons receiving. Messages that are absolute. And channeling spirit. You have conjured a spirit of energy, for better or worse. Be mindful. Okay, those are the cards. For me, these cards are telling us, for the question asked, what lesson are we learning for those who work with it? You must have a conversation, an ongoing conversation with those in your family, with those in your friend groups about our people, our history, how we used to do things. It doesn't matter the specific tradition, but look back and see how our ancestors did things. And maybe we need to get back to some of those things. Some of those things are supporting one another. Buying black as much as possible. Making sure that we work with and help one another in order for all of the things that we would like to happen. There are so many examples of other communities that work together, that build together, so that, they have areas named after their country because they come together in one particular place and make it happen. These are things that we tend not to do, but it's also because we lost our story, we lost our history. It is forgotten, misplaced, not put at the forefront. By bringing back the speaking of our people at the various stages, long in the past, maybe not so far in the past, but our entire history, we will glean new information or recall gems that we can implement in a new way. Channeling spirit. We've brought back a lot of different energies of various cultures, not just of our own culture, because we call for so many things and we want with such fervor that sometimes you call an energy that you can't really send back that easily. And when you are calling from a place of pain, from a place of need, as opposed to coming from a place of understanding and enlightenment, knowing what it is you want and specifically bringing in what you want, but you're just calling because you're calling, that calling because you need, you're desperate, calls whatever. And that is what this card is pointing us to. Sometimes the things that we reach out for unwittingly are the things that can damage us, that can harm us. However, with working with this type of deck, the Spirits of the North deck, we will be able to bring back a communication that will allow us to understand our ancestors. Because I know it's tough. Sitting down at an altar or a shrine, or just sitting down quietly for 5-10 minutes a day, finding that is hard. But if we make a daily practice of coming to the Spirits of the North and asking a question, we're going to get a two-way dialogue until we're much more comfortable, and then be able to add it to our day-to-day, everyday life without any kind of fluctuation, without any kind of blip in our day. And that is what the spirits of the North want. They are trying to get back into each of our daily lives as a seamless part of our lives, not as an extra step and over there and separate and divided. They are one with us. We are one with them. And once we get back to that, once we have that understanding in our minds, information, messages, things that we go, what? Huh? Why didn't I think of that before? All of this will come to us. So these are beautiful messages from the spirits of the North deck. I do thank you for stopping by and joining me for this beautiful first reading. Thank you, Lady Z, for creating this beautiful deck, for birthing this deck into the world at this time. And again, I'll leave her information below should you wish to purchase this deck. You can go to her website, www.dawningdreams.com. And I look forward to seeing you in another video. Namaste.